The Supreme Court said, yes, this is legal. Have they built this project yet? No. They have not, and they've been fighting this over a decade now, so give this one a good look over. The Supreme Court argued it. The poor folks had said, a number of y'all had said, in dealing with the poor folks, y'all had said, listen, you can't take somebody's property, because I had given y'all this within the context of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Doesn't matter how much property you have, property is supposed to be protected. The government shouldn't take it away. It's one thing to build a road. If you remember the nut farm, y'all remember the nut farm? We talked about the nut farm? Yeah. Building a road, building a park, building a hospital. These are public uses. Building places for people to buy scarves and get manis and petties and get your hair did and ultimately get some cheesecake from the factory. That's a little bit different. So kind of keep that in mind. Melissa Nelson, y'all remember her? The dental hygienist. What was the story with the dental hygienist?
She got fired because she was too pretty.
She got fired for being too pretty. Make sure that you take a good look at her, because we talked about this within the context of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness or property. This time it being the business. It sure seemed like maybe she was having an affair with the man's business. The man's wife fired her because she was irresistibly attractive. Some of y'all got pretty mad about that. You remember what Not the President's Call was? What's that? President does not declare war. Who does? Congress does. That's a quickie. Remember, the president has the power to make war once war has been declared, but it is Congress that has the power to declare it. What was the trick with constitutional conventions?
We don't have any idea how it would work.
We don't have any idea it would work. What was the issue that they were concerned about amending?
The balanced budget amendment. Balanced
budget amendment. How much does the United States actually owe?
$20 trillion.
About $20 trillion. And the thought is that there were states that are calling for a constitutional convention. And remember, you need two-thirds. Two-thirds of 50 states is what, 34? And they're getting into the high 20s, maybe even the low 30s. They're really, really close to being able to call this. Problem is that you might call a convention to deal with the balanced budget, but what happened the last time they called a constitutional convention?
We made a new constitution.
Ripped up the whole Articles of Confederation and drafted a whole new constitution. We don't know what would actually happen. Anthony Alonis, I'm a turn that bitch ghost. Y'all remember, right? Make sure you're comfortable with Anthony Alonis. And then assault on separation of powers. This is another quickie. 2 out of 3. What was the significance of 2 out of 3?
Two branches of government need to be, at least two, need to be cooperating.
Yeah, and make sure that you read over that paragraph. President and Congress should work together to pass a law. President or the executive needs to get a warrant in order to conduct searches. President or the executive needs to make an argument for a criminal prosecution. President and Congress work together to declare war or deal with treaties. You get the idea, but make sure that you're comfortable with those. I think y'all should be good on the last 2 articles. The Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it was Arizona and it was Oklahoma. Arizona was immigration. Oklahoma, if you remember, was abortion. Please view the fetus. The afternoon class, y'all got into humane execution in addition to those 2. Do y'all have any questions about those 3 articles? Because those are tailor-made for discussion. Make sure that you're comfortable. Okay, Nicole is leaving, so I guess that means that I'm done. Does anybody have any further questions? Okay, it looks like Nola wants to ask a question on camera. Zoom in. We can share this with your friends home.
You gotta get a little closer. Okay.
It's not a Nola question? No. Okay. I guess nobody has any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
In the beginning, chapter 3.
Talking about the balance of power between the federal government and the states. In the beginning, it was tilted toward the states. It became kind of 50-50, and then now it's really tilted toward the federal government, which would take us up to devolution, revolution. Anybody else? Okay, if you'll cut it, and I'll post it. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. We got to zoom in on Valeria.
Is the abortion thing article on?
It is. I added it. I did. I added it. Oh, I added it just for you. I did. I said I would in class. I did. Any others? Okay, if you'll cut it.